We're gonna go to boxing. We didn't have any boxing last time, but since then there has been some interesting stories and news coming up about a potential fight between Logan Paul and Mike Tyson. Um, Gideon sent me this, and I did not believe it. I had to do my research to see that this was actually a thing. Because when you sent it to me, my initial reaction was, "Are you for real?
Yeah, you were like, are you like, is this real?
Are you serious?"
And I mean, I had the same reaction. I saw this, and you see like people put stuff all the time that they're in talks or they're gonna fight so and so. This one's actually like real. Like this one's actually two teams going back and forth talking, and like serious talks. And this is like a fight. If I'm my type, I mean, I'll start with Logan Paul. Why? What do you even need this fight? I mean, you really don't need this fight. You're fighting a 53-year-old Mike Tyson. I don't even like, and I don't feel. I feel like this would be similar to the Roy Jones Jr. fight, and it's gonna be like a hard spar at best. I don't feel like they're gonna try to go out there and knock each other out. But I mean, it's just like it's really interesting. I mean,
Well, I'll tell you, the Paul boys are good at one thing.
yeah,
They're good at making money,
yeah.
right? So I feel like I, I feel like it works out for both parties involved because Tyson's going to do it for money. I feel like because we all know he's seems to be in trouble with money. Apparently, that's why he did his last fight. But I mean, I think a lot of people want to see this happen,
I
even
would like to see
with
it.
even with 53-year-old Mike Tyson. Just seeing the headline, I'm sure exploded the internet and would explode pay per view. But then you got to ask yourself, so is this what boxing's turning into? Like, is boxing turning into what's the craziest out of this world random pay per view pairing we can put together? Because it doesn't seem like anybody cares anymore about the actual fighters. They just want that big name, used to be big name card to watch these crazy legacy fights. They don't really care about new fighters and what's going on with the sport.
You have like guys like Canelo and Devin Haney. You have all these people, Ryan Garcia, all these people, all these young fighters that are fighting soon, and nobody cares because it gets overshined with Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul in 2022 or 2021. Why is Mike Tyson still fighting? It's like I think it's where boxing is going. I think this is where you're gonna get the most eyes with Jake Paul and Logan Paul and Mike Tyson come back to fight. And it's like it's okay for boxing. I mean, I think it gets a lot of people, a lot of eyes on boxing, but not for the right reason. Not because you want to see high level boxing, because you want to see high level entertainment, and that's what Logan Paul and Jake Paul are doing. I don't think it's bad for boxing, but it's like not good for it either.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I feel like if you want to get boxing back in the spotlight, this is maybe a way to do it, but I don't know if it's the best way to do it. I feel like if you're going to do cards like this, if you really care about the sport, you need to make sure your undercards are stacked.
Yeah,
Because I feel like if you stack those undercards with good fights, then people will want to watch the Canelos. They'll want to watch, Tyson Fury. They'll want to watch these other fighters fight because they're going to see these stacked undercards and know that boxing's still alive, still a sport, and still has lots of contenders in it. I feel like a lot of people just feel like boxing's kind of dead, and there's not that you know drive for fighters to come into the sport now. And I feel like a lot of your mainstream fighters are your older fighters now. And so now they're just trying to cash in. I mean,
yeah,
they're just throwing names out there. You see two names, you're like, oh, great. Oh, wait, these dudes are 50. Like,
yeah.
what are we watching? Right? Like the Tyson's last fight was just them hugging the whole time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think like I don't think boxing's ever going to be able to compete with the UFC ever again. UFC is putting on too good of cards. I mean, the best are fighting the best when they should be fighting the best.
Yep.
When you in boxing, you're having guys that are gonna fight each other when they're in their 40s. you have guys in UFC when they're hot, they're going against other hot fighters, and I don't know. I feel like it's not bad for. I mean, it gets a lot of eyes. It's gonna get a lot. I mean, Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson is gonna get a million pay-per-view buys, but is it gonna be the most high level boxing display? No, it's not. It's probably not even gonna be that entertaining because I don't think they're gonna go out there and try to hurt each other.
Yeah, and I think that's for me. That's the downside.
Yeah.
Is you're not necessarily getting good boxing, and so it makes people feel like boxing as a sport's boring because you're not getting a good fight. You know what I'm saying? You're getting two dudes out there. They're gonna hug each other, maybe throw a couple punches, and then that's gonna be what 6 rounds, 8 rounds of them leaning on each other the entire time. That would be my negative. Yeah, you're getting exposure, you're getting a lot of buys, but what's your product? I feel like it's hurting your product unless you stack your undercards.